Hello YouTube, this is Goddard Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you today. For this one I'm going to do a new US craft brewery. This is one I've never tried anything from, and so obviously I've never reviewed anything from it either. And this one comes highly recommended from Paul at PABrewNews. If you haven't checked out his channel already, definitely go and do it. If you're into your American craft beer, he's your man. And he also brews some of his own stuff as well, which is supposed to be very good. Hopefully I'll get to try that when I go and visit him next year. But today I'm going to take a look at the Victory Brewing Company's Hop Devil IPA. Now this one, as a big shout out as well with this video to the guys at Thistle News in Aberdeen. If you're watching from the Aberdeen area of Scotland, go and check those guys out. A really good little selection of craft beer there. Their Facebook link is in the video description. But as always with my beer reviews, I'll just take you through a little bit of a history of the brewery. This is another one that started off with home brewing roots, if you like. But as I always say, if you are simply just interested in the tasting of this beer, then feel free to go towards the latter part of the video and you will catch that particular segment. But anyway, this brewery is located in Downington in Pennsylvania. It's about 30 miles to the west of Philadelphia. But Victory Brewing was founded by two friends, Ron Barchett and Bill Kovalevsky, who had been friends since 1973 when they were in the 5th grade, and apparently they remained good friends despite going on to university in different coasts of the US. But a few months after finishing university, Bill's interest in beer and also access to his father's home brewing equipment prompted him to further explore his hobby. Now in 1985 he gave Ron a home brewing kit as a Christmas gift, which helped them both pursue their love of beer, and this apparently led to a bit of a friendly rivalry between the pair. And over time they gradually grew sick of their jobs in the corporate world and decided that they wanted to combine their growing skills and pursue careers as brewers. Now Ron quit his job as a financial analyst and began an apprenticeship at the Baltimore Brewing Company, working under the Dutch-born German-trained brewer Theo de Groen. And after working there for a year, Ron moved to the Technical University of Munich at Weihenstephan. You'll probably recognise that name as the oldest brewery in the world there in Germany, in the very south there. But as Ron departed for Germany, Bill immediately took over Ron's role in Baltimore, and while Ron was enhancing his knowledge of German brewing, Bill was helping the Baltimore Brewing Company to expand their range of beers to include several German speciality beers, and many of these actually went on to win awards at the Great American Beer Festival. Following his time in Baltimore though, Bill travelled to Munich to study at the Dohmans Institute, another very famous brewing institute over there of course. But Ron returned to the US after a year of study in Germany, and he took up a role at Old Dominion Brewing Company in Virginia, and over the course of his 4-year spell as brewmaster he helped increase the production of the brewery tenfold, from 1,500 barrels to 15,000 barrels per annum. With all this gained knowledge, Bill and Ron decided that it was time to start brewing for themselves, and they settled on Pennsylvania as the location for this brewery, and this was where they first met as children of course. But Victory Brewing opened to the public on the 15th of February 1996, and they converted a former Pepperidge Farm factory into a 144-seat restaurant with a 70-foot bar and a full-scale brewery of course as well. But in this first year of operation the brewery produced 1,725 barrels of beer, but in more recent years they've increased the size of their restaurant to 300 seats, and they've also expanded the capacity of the brewery, and in 2012 they actually produced 93,196 barrels of beer. In terms of their brewing process here, they use German imported malts and a mixture of American and imported European whole flower hops. They're actually one of the few US breweries to do this, and apparently it gives better flavour and aroma to the beer if you use these full flower hops. And apparently they also have 45 different unique yeast strains to complement their wide variety of beers, and local water as well as used in the thing. So this is a very interesting brewery to try the beers from. But like a number of US craft breweries, they're also committed to environmental responsibility, and they maintain a policy of low environmental impact manufacturing. Their main source of electricity is actually solar power technology, and they also recycle as much of their waste as they can. They compost the food waste from the restaurant, and they have an arrangement with a local cattle farmer to take up their spent grain. And recently they also began brewing at their new facility in Parksburg, which will have a capacity of 225,000 barrels per year of beer. So just to tell you a little bit about the other beers that this brewery do, in their regular range there's quite a few of these ones here. They have this one, the Hop Devil IPA, Golden Monkey, which is a Belgian triple, Prima Pils, I have this one for you to review as well, Headwaters Pale Ale, this was one they introduced for their 15th anniversary I believe it was, and I've got one of these for you too. They've got Storm King, which is an Imperial Stout, Dirt Wolf, which is a double IPA, Victory Lager, Donnybrook Stout, V12, which is a Belgian strong ale, Helios Farmhouse Ale, which is a sort of saison style beer, and the Mad King's Weiss, obviously a Weiss beer, Hefeweizen, however you want to describe that. Hop Wallop, Baltic Thunder, which is a Baltic porter. This one is supposed to be really good. Hopefully I can get that for you at some point. And they also have Braumeister Pils, so that's their sort of core or regular range, if you like. They also have 9 different seasonal beers. It's the biggest range of seasonal beers I've seen when I've been doing these beer reviews for you, actually. But they have Hop Ranch, which is an IPA, Swing, which is a Session Saison. They have a Summer Love, which is Golden Ale, Fest Beer, which is an Oktoberfest Märzen. They have Winter Cheer, which is a wheat ale, Old Horizontal, which is an American barley wine, Sunrise Weiss Beer, Moonglow Weizenbock. I really want to try that one, actually. St. Boisterous Hellerbock, St. Victorious Doppelbock, one of my favourite styles of beer, of course, and they have the Takima Glory Ale as well there. So that's their range of beers there for you. But let's get on to the tasting of this one here. I'll just let you have a little look at the bottle art and the cap and stuff like that, as I usually do. Let me just bring the camera up. There we go. As you can see, this is the artwork on this one here. There is a little story behind the artwork here. Apparently the Hop Devil character existed in Bill's mind and on paper before the beer was ever brewed, and he drew this thing and he decided that he wanted to brew a beer called Hop Devil. So this is where this guy on the label comes here. This one is a 6.7% American IPA, and it uses American malts and it uses American hops and 2-row German malts there. So this one should be quite interesting. It has a little bit of a product description on the side here. It says the mythical Hop Devil resides in the lore of farmers. Our Hop Devil is the real deal, bold, spicy and menacingly delicious. He's the product of distinctive American hops and meticulous craftsmanship. Arising from the headly wilds of our hopback and gently tamed with time, this devil makes a great companion. And it's signed by Brill and Ron, who are the brewmasters of Victory Brewing there. But I'll just make sure you're seeing that artwork there. As you can see, this is the Hop Devil character on here. I'm just sort of shining that in the light a little bit there. I'll need to fix my lights. But yeah, you can see it's quite a nice package on there. And there is the Victory bottle cap on these ones as well. And all of their beers tend to have this bottle cap. And there's the little top label as well for those of you who are interested. But as I mentioned, this is a 6.7% American IPA, and it's got American hops, full flower ones, as I mentioned in the review, and also 2-row German malts. But let's get this guy open and get on with the tasting for this one. You can see a nice big bubble coming up there at the top, actually. But yeah, let's get this guy poured and into the glass. I really like the American style of the American pale ales, actually, or American IPAs, however you describe them. But I'm really looking forward to trying this one. And this came highly recommended, as I say, from Paul at PABrewNews, obviously a resident of Pennsylvania there. So I'm interested to try my first Pennsylvania beer. And this one has really good ratings on the likes of Beer Advocate and stuff like that as well. So really looking forward to trying this one. As you can see, it's a really beautiful kind of nice amber colour there. I'll just shine it into the light so you can see, but it's actually quite a hazy one, but it's a really beautiful deep orangey amber colour there. Really stunning looking beer. As you can see, a nice good finger of head there, very foamy, slightly off-white actually, I would say. Some bigger bubbles in there. I'm seeing a lot of little bubbles of carbonation floating up to the top there, so this one should be quite a nice and crisp beer, but I'm looking forward to trying this one for you, as I say. In terms of the aroma here, very citrusy actually, a good bit of grapefruit as well, but a lot of citrus and grapefruit in there, I would say. Yeah, lots of citrusy grapefruits in there, typical of an American pale ale. But a nice bit of caramel sweetness in the background as well. And this one actually has a little bit of a kind of darker aroma, if you like, but the citrusy and grapefruit is dominating in there. And there's perhaps some pine resin as well, but a good bit of the brown sugar from sort of caramel malts and things. You tend to expect that from German malts, as I've said in numerous videos before. But yeah, some nice sort of citrusy and grapefruit flavours in there, some good pine resin as well, brown sugary notes, caramel malts, as I say, from your German things there, and maybe just a little hint of earthy character there as well. But yeah, really nice smelling beer. This one has I can tell from the aroma, this is going to be a really good one. But let's have a taste of this guy and see how we get on. To Paul at PABrewNews, cheers for this one, and thanks for the recommendation. Quite a bitter one at first taste, but really, really nice. But yeah, quite citrusy up front. And you're also getting the tropical fruits there in the background, but the pine resin is quite dominating as well. The pine resin sort of going all the way through this and onto the aftertaste from my first taste there. But yeah, a lot of citrusy and grapefruit at the start with the pine resin pushing through there too. There's There's a nice bit of sort of caramel sweetness in the middle, and you're getting a lot of kind of bready character as well that has just that little bit of spice, and that sort of lingering through with the pine resin towards the end of this beer. This is a really nice one. But yeah, it's actually a little bit darker in flavour than some of the American pale ales I have had, but it's a really nice beer. Definitely worth trying if you can get a hold of this one, but it certainly doesn't disappoint from my first Pennsylvania beer that I've had, and I really like the American pale ale style of beer. But yeah, as I mentioned, you're opening up with that really nice citrusy and grapefruit burst there, but this one has a really good blast of pine resin that's sort of pushing through there. It's actually a bit more dominating than the fruits up front in my opinion, but then this is opening up to a nice bit of sort of caramel sweetness, which is actually a bit darker than some that I've had before, as I said, and the bready character with just that little bit of spices in the middle there as well, and you've got a good bit of earthy character. A really, really nice pale ale, as I say, but the spice and the pine resin in this one is really sticking throughout, and the bitterness is really good as well. And it's a really, really good pale ale, this one. I have to say, I'm definitely impressed with this one. If I can try this on tap when I go to Pennsylvania, I'll definitely be doing it. This is a really good beer, and I'm very excited about going to trying more Pennsylvania beers if they're anything like this, definitely. But yeah, this is a really good one. In terms of the mouthfeel, it's mid to full bodied, definitely, and the malts actually make this one a little bit heavier than usual with the style. Actually, it's more, that's just what I'm saying, more mid to full bodied. Most American pale ales, I find them to be light to mid bodied, but this one is a little bit heavier than the other ones, and I think that must just be the pardon me, that must just be the German malts there. But it's a really, really good pale ale, this one. Honestly, if you get the chance and you're into the style, try this one. You really will not be disappointed with this. But yeah, as I say, the malts make this slightly heavier than is usual with the style, but very, very good, and there's just a good level of carbonation in this one. It makes it quite crisp actually, but it is at the same time quite smooth, and it's got a nice oily mouthfeel, which I really like with this. But yeah, the carbonation comes in, and it actually sort of complements the nice pine resin notes there. It complements it really well, then it just sort of smooths out, and that's just when you get the nice pine resin lingering and the bit of spice character come out. The carbonation's very well done in this, and it's quite smooth actually, and quite a clean tasting beer, but it's very, very well done, this one. This is one of the really good pale ales that I've had actually, probably up there actually with Odell's. That was my favourite one that I tried so far, but this one is definitely up there with the Odell IPA. Really, really good beer. But it's actually, this one is an excellent IPA in my opinion. Quite unusual actually in the fact that it's a bit heavier than the other ones for the style, so a little bit unique in that sense. Definitely give it a try if you get the chance. But the malts and hops mix very well with this one, and I think this is what gives it a lot of its complexity in the flavour. But this is a really, really good pale ale. I highly recommend that if you get the chance you try this, and I really look forward to trying more of the Pennsylvania beers for you if they're anything like this. And I've got another 2 of these Victory Brewing beers to review for you at a later date, so I'm looking forward to that as well. A very good brewery, as Paul said, and even you can tell from this beer. But thanks again for watching my beer reviews. I hope you found it informative. Please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on this beer, and indeed the brewery as well. It's always interesting to hear that. And Pennsylvania people, if you're watching, please recommend other breweries for me to try as well, but I'm sure Paul will definitely have some recommendations there. But thanks again for watching my beer reviews. Please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff you've been watching. Goddard Radio Moscow, and I'll be back for you another time with more beer reviews. Thanks for watching. Cheers.